This next story, it's a little scary. I'm going to show you the example, but it's a little scary. And this happened to Joe Rogan. But first and foremost, go ahead and smash that like button, guys. That helps me with the algo. Thank you. Joe Rogan got a little bit of a surprise. Apparently, there is a Joe Rogan podcast that has had an interview with a guest, just like Joe Rogan does. It sounds like Joe Rogan. It sounds like Sam Altman. But in fact, it's not actually either one of them. We're diving into AI. Listen to this. Joe Rogan sounds the alarm on AI with Deepfake podcast. So someone sent this to me yesterday. This came my way and I was like, oh dear. Joe Rogan, one of the biggest podcast personalities on the planet, sat with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman for an episode of his popular podcast show to talk about AI advancements. However, neither Rogan nor Altman actually sat for the conversation. The nearly hour-long episode was generated entirely by ChatGPT, mimicking the distinct tone of Rogan as well as Altman. Here's a picture of Joe Rogan here. Not just in terms of the intellectual verbosity that these two are known for, but also their real voice pattern. Even the Eminem track playing in the episode was generated by an AI tool called 40 Hertz. If you need any precedent for such a stunt, none other than David Guetta played a song by the Grammy-winning rapper at one of his concerts, the entity of which was generated using an AI. So Joe Rogan actually responded to this on Twitter, and he said, "This is going to get very slippery, kids." And he was responding to Verzad here, who actually had posted this and said, "Yo, what in the actual F for real, YouTube?" And I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it. Let me go on here and do continuing. While Guetta's musical adventure once again stirred a hot debate around ethics and copyright while using such a tool, Rogan's AI-generated episode takes things to a whole nother level. The ChatGPT responses vocalized for the episode broach a wide range of deep topics like the future of AI, ethical issues, the technical foundations of AI, and the risk to real human jobs. Even dystopian topics like putting a cutting-edge controversial AI like ChatGPT into a humanoid android robot and the potential of colonizing Mars were discussed. And the answers were quite enlightening, albeit a tad predictable and overly ambitious. Notably, the episode also discussed Tesla chief Elon Musk's recent unfavorable comments about the impact of AI proliferation. We'll get into that in just a second as well. So, remember a couple of days ago, Elon Musk, along with Andrew Yang, and I think it was also Steve Wozniak, I think was also one of them. They were, telling people that they were going to put a 6-month pause on AI because they said it's becoming too dangerous. But they didn't really go into a lot of detail about what was happening. I'm going to show you that in just a second as well. But I want to show you this episode because this is scary. This is scary. Now, again, let's come out for just a second because I want to show you how you can be duped if you're not paying close attention. Now, this looks like very similar to Joe Rogan's podcast. It says Joe Rogan AI Experience episode number 001, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. But if you're not paying close attention, notice it says Joe Rogan AI Experience. When you look at the channel, This is not Joe Rogan's channel. If you're not paying attention to the number of subscribers, you may totally miss this. This is not, obviously, Joe Rogan has way more than 8.52 thousand subscribers. This is not him. But it looks like it could be. But that's not even the craziest part. Wait till you listen to it. Let me speed up just a little bit to get past the music. Listen to his voice. Listen to this.
By OpenAI. I am not the real Joe Rogan. Let me repeat it once more. I am not Joe Rogan, and the guests are not the people they portray. This is purely fiction, just for fun, so don't go around making little clips for your TikToks and make the world believe I said things I never said. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as said by the real people they portray. This is purely for entertainment purposes and an experience showcasing the amazing advancements in AI technology. So,
now, does that sound like Joe Rogan to you? That sounds like Joe Rogan to me. And if you don't have that intro at the beginning of the video, and let's say you were just given an audio version of this, would you be able to tell the difference? Let's go on.
Sit back, relax, and let's dive into this AI-generated world. Let's get weird, folks. It's time to welcome our first guest to the show, and I've got to say, this is a big one. We've got none other than the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, joining us today. Sam's been at the forefront of the AI industry for years, and it's an honor to have him on the show. So let's give a warm AI-generated welcome to Sam Altman. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sam, this whole AI-generated podcast thing is pretty wild. It's like we're living in the future, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a strange experience, but it's also incredibly exciting. The advance.
Now, by the way, if you're not familiar with Sam Altman, also, if you look him up, that sounds like him too. Kind of weird, huh? Kind of spooky. We'll listen to just a little bit more and then we'll go on.
Advancements in AI technology have come a long way, and it's amazing to see what we can achieve with the tools we already have at our disposal.
So let's dive right in. Your company just released a new tool called ChatGPT. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what it does?
Sure. So ChatGPT is an AI language model that's been trained on a massive amount of text data. What this means is that it's able to generate text that's almost indistinguishable from text written by like a human. It does this by using a process called deep learning, where it's been trained on a massive data set of text, and it's able to use that training to generate new text that's coherent and grammatically correct. And the cool thing is that the more data it's trained on, the more accurate and diverse its responses can be.
And that's what they used for this, was the Chat GPT, right? So we'll play a little bit more, and then I want you to hear the response of a professor from NYU about why he also agreed with the pause, the 6-month pause of AI.
That's insane. So let's say I ask ChatGPT a question right now. It's going to use that deep learning process to generate an answer on the spot?
Exactly. And what's even more impressive is that it can also generate answers in a conversational style, which is why it's able to generate a podcast like this. It's able to keep track of the conversation and generate responses that are relevant to the conversation at hand.
Wow, that's...
So just FYI, guys, like, these are not voice actors. This is something, all of this apparently can be done by Chat GPT. So he just explained to you how it works. I could try to do that falsification. Sabby should have Professor Emily M. Bender on. She literally studies this. I could do that. Thank you so much. Kind of scary, huh? A little bit, maybe. Now, what I want to warn you about, though, I'm not trying to scare you, but what I'm trying to warn you is that this is not the first time someone has tried to do a copycat of Joe Rogan. Apparently, there was an issue with TikTok doing something similar, not as close as this, but similar. Listen to this. Now, this article was posted February 15th of this year. TikTok removes viral video ad of suspected Joe Rogan AI deep fake. So let's go on here. So it's not I guess people just want to keep impersonating Joe Rogan. If you've been on TikTok remotely lately, you might have been served a video advertisement featuring Joe Rogan and one of his guests on his immensely popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. In that clip, Rogan boasts about a libido booster for men. The supplement was called Alpha Grind, going so far as to tell listeners exactly what to type in to find the product on Amazon. Boy, this is something. Rogan is one of the most popular podcasters out there with over 10 million listeners per episode of his show. A brand endorsement like that would be a big get and likely a very expensive one for any product. Here's the problem. Boop. Rogan did not endorse Alpha Grind on his show. The clip featured in the TikTok video ad is a likely deep fake, an AI creation with the intent to make it appear as if Rogan endorsed the product in order to boost sales. There could have been a lawsuit in reference to that you used someone else's image to sell a product without their permission. Let's go on. Now, it was shared here on Twitter. It says, breaking, this AI deepfake video rendering of Joe Rogan is going viral on TikTok. This is the start of massive waves of new scams and misinformation. If only there was a decentralized GPU compute rendering network that can authenticate province for IP. Let me see if it lets me play. Let's see.
There's a category of supplements that are very interesting, work very well to increase testosterone by about 100.
I'm just going to mute it for just a sec. Okay.
That Alpha Grind product that's all over TikTok, if you go to Amazon and you type in libido booster for men, you're going
So you guys see
to
this?
find it right at the top.
I just muted it for us because of the music.
Difference down there.
It stimulates the testes, if you got those, to make more testosterone or estrogen.
Yo, look, watch.
There's a category of supplements that are very interesting, work very well to increase testosterone by about 100 to 200 points.
Well, look, that Alpha Grind product.
Okay, so apparently this is not Joe Rogan. Do you guys see the problem? Like, he never advertised this product on his show, but they were able to create a deep fake to make it look like it was him. It's not him. But even if you watch his mouth, let's watch his mouth. Come back here for just a second.
Well, look, that Alpha Grind product that's all.
If you watch his mouth is moving to the words. So it seems like it is him. Very interesting. So like I said, this is not the first time. Now, it goes on to say here, the video ad was posted and promoted on TikTok by a user going by the name of Mike Smith Trainer. When Mashable first reviewed the TikTok account, the publicly posted video consisted of testimonial clips of supposed everyday Alpha Grind consumers. As of publishing time, the Mike Smith Trainer account is no longer accessible on TikTok. A TikTok spokesperson confirmed to Mashable that the company removed these videos under the harmful misinformation policy. It says TikTok also banned the account. It's kind of scary in a way, because it's like anyone can do that. And I like these videos. If you guys haven't seen, there are videos on Twitter, and the account is Turncoat Dawn. So Turncoat Dawn, he makes these videos where he'll insert other people like onto CNN segments. Like, he's done this with me. He's done it with Jimmy Dore to make it seem like we were on CNN or MSNBC. I don't know how he does it, but those are a little bit more obvious that it's not real. But there are concerns in reference to AI. And here is an NYU professor that is going to express why he agreed with Andrew Yang and with Elon Musk to put a 6-month pause on AI. Listen to this.
But part of the reason that some of us wrote this letter is to put some pressure on.
Oh, I think we'll need a volume booster on this one, Eric. Yeah. His name is Gary Marcus.
Governments and the companies realize that this is no joke.
Our next guest is the author of Rebooting AI and jumped on board signing the letter. We'll share more about why. Gary Marcus joins us, New York University professor. He's also founded Geometric Intelligence, a machine learning startup that Uber acquired.
I think they're moving a little bit faster in Europe than they are here. But part of the reason that some of us wrote this letter is to put some pressure on to make governments and the companies realize that this is no joke, that there are risks from these things. There are immediate short-term risks around.
Pause right here. Okay, everybody, look at this part. Key points from Gary Marcus in reference to AI concerns. The critical variable is not intelligence, but power. Power leads to access, which has potential to create serious, immediate problems. So these were the red flags here for Gary Marcus. Let's go on.
Misinformation at wide scale that might disrupt democracy, much more plausible and much more of it than we've ever seen before. There are risks around cybersecurity, people using these tools to acquire people's credentials and do all kinds of things once they have those credentials. There are longer term risks that we just don't understand what these machines can do. And we don't know how to make them align with human desire. So there are many, many issues to worry about. And we've never seen anything scaled out so fast before. And we're also seeing that the corporates are, as usual, more interested in profits than human safety. And so we have to do something. And that's why a bunch of us signed this letter. I don't know if the particular thing that we called for will actually happen, but we've raised public awareness more than I've ever seen on this issue. I've been on television nonstop for the last couple of days talking about it. I think it's just absolutely critical that people in society realize that we can't wait on this. We need regulation that's akin, for example, to medicine, where you have to make a safety case. You can't just give a new drug to 100 million people without having made that safety case.
Pause right here. More key points from Gary Marcus. Superintelligence may or may not be imminent, but there's a lot to be worried about either way. You don't have to be super intelligent to create serious problems. So it sounds like also one of the issues that he had was how fast the rollout happened. And he compared it to pharma, that you have an FDA for a reason to test out these, prescription drugs to make sure that it's safe for the public. It sounds like, according to him, they haven't had those safety tests and they're trying to roll it out too fast. And that's what it seems like he's concerned about. But it also kind of sounds like to me that something must have happened that really made them very concerned. And I feel like if something did happen, they're not telling us what that something is for whatever reason. But I did find it to be somewhat strange that just out of nowhere, they would say, oh, okay, this seems to be rolling out a little bit too fast, and we might need to input some safety measures. Everybody pause AI for 6 months. Okay. But what happened? I still feel like there's something they're not saying. And maybe it's because they don't want to scare people, right? Nolan says, that's what I was thinking, Sabby. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Let's go on.
Well, I wonder, Gary, what 6 months buys you? I mean, is that enough time for policy to get crafted, or is it an attempt to convince markets to slow down? Because the capital flow, we can tell you on a business network, is unrelenting.
Yeah, I don't expect the capital flow to slow down, but we didn't actually call for a ban on all research. We called for a ban on these particular things, scaling up these particular models that themselves are unreliable. If you've ever used them to write your own biography, you know that they will lie about you. They provide both they can be used to make deliberate misinformation. Even accidentally, they make a lot of misinformation. So we have all those problems. So we're saying, fine, research all of those things. Just don't make a bigger version of this thing we already know is problematic and risky.
So he says, again, we already know if you make a bigger version of what we already have, we already know it's problematic and risky, but they don't tell you why it's problematic and risky. See, that's the thing. Like, they're not telling us everything. Now, here are some of the recommendations here in reference to how they can accelerate. Let me see. Pause it right about there. How they can accelerate development. So I don't think they didn't pause here long enough. I just want to show you. It says AI development. Policymakers can accelerate development by creating new and capable regulatory authorities. I would be surprised they don't have that already, but okay. Oversight and tracking of AI systems and large pools of computational capability. Watermarking systems to help distinguish real from synthetic and to track model leaks. Again, you would think they have this already. Like, that's the part that is a little bit odd. And then this piece here, he says they can also accelerate development by creating new and capable regulatory authorities. Oh, wait a minute. It took me back. There's another piece here I wanted to. It's the auditing part. Yeah. Auditing and certification ecosystem. Mitigating liability for AI caused harm. And developing robust public funding for technical AI safety research. It's just, I'm sorry, but when I look at these recommendations, especially this one here, the developing a public funding for technical safety research, you would have thought they would have done that already. That's the part that's weird to me. But he has one more piece here. I want to finish this part up here.
This thing we already know is problematic and risky. You know, OpenAI has acknowledged that there are all these risks and haven't given any solution. They're also completely opaque about how the systems actually work, which makes it very hard for the scientific community to do anything about it. So we can use this time to both help with regulation and also to help research at other approaches to AI that might not have the same risks.
Okay, so putting aside the pause, which I'm not sure is so realistic, Gary, how do you make AI safe?
So I think we need a pause. I think that's part of it. I think we need to have regulation like we have around medicine, where you have to make a safety case. We may need to have a pause on widespread deployment, even if research carries on, until we figure out what are the safety measures.
But when he says we need to have a pause, the question, when she's asking you, like, how do you make it safe? Notice his response is, well, we need to have a pause. But while you have that pause, what else are you doing to make it safe? I think that's the thing that's, to me, is just kind of like, okay, great. We already know you need to have a pause. But what else are you going to do during that period to make sure that it is safe? It sounds like to me he don't really know.
Probably going to need new technologies in order, for example, to pick up on the high volume misinformation that I anticipate. So just like we had to build new technologies for detecting spam and different kinds of viruses and stuff like that, we have to build new tech too.
Why does he anticipate a lot of misinformation? Why does he anticipate that? See, they're not telling you. There's key components to this that I feel like they are leaving out. Like, he says that he anticipates a lot of misinformation to happen with AI, but he doesn't tell you why. I don't know, man. Let him finish.
6 months buys us some time to do that. I don't know that we will actually implement the pause, but we must do something here.
Okay. You guys take it how you want to take it. If you haven't had a chance to answer that poll, go ahead and do so. Do not let me influence you. But it does seem like, to me, I don't know. I feel like there's something they're leaving out there. But yes, Joe Rogan. But not Joe Rogan. Oh boy. Let me go to some of the comments here. JB says, wow, Sabby, this can be used to incriminate innocent people. I can see the alphabet people using this against whistleblowers, etc. Oh no. Thank you for the super chat, Rob. You're making a big difference for the better, Sabby. Much appreciated. Thank you, Rob. Bart, deepfake is the sincerest form of flattery. Thank you for the super chat, GDNPB. Thank you, Sabby. Thank you so much. And thank you for the super chat, Zach. A pause only hurts the poor who lose access yet moneyed quietly race ahead. Now imagine the horrific unrelated laws Dementia Joe and company would pass. There you go. There you go. I really think they're trying to make a push for that Restrict Act still, especially considering what just happened with the leak of the Pentagon documents. All right. Let's see those poll results. Are you concerned about artificial intelligence? 69% of you said yes. 18% of you said no. And 13% said not sure. That's actually a high number for the yes, to be honest. The what do you call it? The artificial intelligence. That's actually pretty high. 69%. Interesting.